Hey, I'm Coral and this is Coral Gardens. I'm going to take you around our June garden today and do a quick garden tour, show you everything we got going on. It's getting warmer and warmer. It's going to be to the point where we desperately need shade, which we haven't afforded yet, so hopefully we can come up with that pretty soon. I'm just getting ready to head out of here, but I'll come back and shoot the garden tour when I'm done. It's a beautiful morning and the birds are chirping. It's June 22nd. We are getting the very last of our stuff put in the ground a little late, and I'll show you what we got growing. Our herbs are looking real sad. We still have some green onions that we're harvesting, but I think these need to be in more sun, so we'll be pushing them up with these ones today. There's some parsley that's gone to flower, and some chives in here as well, and those are the only things we're using right now. I planted things all around it. None of them survive. There's one little beet that's surviving. Let's see how he fares. More green onions. Here's our little moringa tree looking real sad and puny, but with okay green growth, I think it might survive. We'll see. Zinnias are looking lovely. Getting ready to bloom here before too long. Mint there. Some holy basil that I need to start deadheading so it'll keep blooming. The pollinators really like it. Hopefully it'll just bush out all over if I just take off all this. Usually I just pinch it in one place, but maybe this will be a good way to get it to really bush out and bloom more. That was a volunteer. Oh, it does smell really good. Green onions that are flopped over. See, a few of them are bulbing a little bit, I see. These probably aren't going to be the biggest onions, and they definitely won't be for storing. They'll just be for immediate use. Our tomatillos that are still left in here. We got a couple out the other day. As long as we have 2 plants, I think we'll be okay. We might get enough for a few salsa verdes and we'll call it good. Okay, so the Three Sisters waffle garden beds. These are Zuni waffle gardens. Dug in to maintain moisture and protect kind of from the wind as well, because we're really windy and hot in the high desert here. But so these have glass gem corn, which we grew last year and really loved, and then Painted Mountain, which we also grew, that was really pretty. And then in each corner they have a squash or a melon, and most of these have at least one other sister or cousin, however you want to, which is, this case is a sunflower there that I planted when there was a little space left. I thought might as well put something there. This is one of our bigger squash so far. And the watermelon here, looking really happy and starting to want to sprawl, which is fun. The corn in this one are getting really big. And then our Moon and Stars watermelon there. Looks like he's like growing upwards for the time being. He'll probably sprawl in a minute. I don't know what the other melons are or squash are till I see the actual squash or melon form, because we didn't mark them. In the next row, everything in here is a little further back because we planted them shortly after, especially those far back ones that look a lot shorter. But here we go. There's another little melon getting ready to sprawl. And this one I accidentally planted a melon and a squash on the same side. My friend said I should try and just see what's gonna happen. I pulled out one of there was 2 melons actually. I pulled out one to see, but I guess I'm gonna try it. I'm sure they'll be unhappy, but we'll try and keep them extra fed. And then a friend gave me this very tired, maybe not gonna make it, butternut squash, but we'll see if it wants to live. Beautiful corn. I'm so excited for corn again. I want to make those the glass gem kind of wreath that I made last year with using the leaves and the cobs. Look at this little squash really growing upward too. Hopefully we can train him kind of outward, but he can climb around down there and protect from weeds. This bed has a lot of volunteer amaranth. I'm pretty much letting the amaranth come up wherever it chooses. Squash, and then the tiniest little watermelon that came up really late. Just a little guy. We had a lot of wind last night, so weird stuff blew in all of these. And I've been kind of letting the purslane grow wherever, but when it's right around the base of the plants, I think I'm gonna move it. We ended up with a lot of moon and stars. I think they did so well last year, we decided they might be just worth it to grow a lot of those. And the squash got kind of blown off of his trajectory and onto that watermelon, where they're trying to hold on to each other. But that's our most sprawly squash at the moment. And these ones are the yellowest looking in this little row. I think they might have got the least compost in their hole, but we're just gonna keep feeding and amending. Throw some, I'm gonna try later today to mound up the corn, because I read that can be good to help with wind, which we obviously have an issue with, and to get it more nutrients and grow better. This squash is looking a little like it might stay compact, but we'll see. That'd be interesting. And there's a couple little sunflowers in these ones that are sparse. Maybe a surprise amaranth or two will come up. This one has a couple amaranth and sunflowers. Nothing came up in that corner, but I don't, oh no, it did. It's just on the other side of one of the corns, which I guess will be okay. Again, we'll just try and keep them well fed. Here's another little, 2 watermelons. I'm gonna pinch out one of them so the other has more of a shot. And I'm gonna have to have my son weed these beds because it's really hard for me. It's almost, bending over further than touching the ground. I'm pretty disabled, so it's pretty hard either way. These guys some of them are just coming up. Again, they were planted the latest, but I think some of them just took their time. This little squash is tripping me out too with its little upward growth habit. And then here's that peach tree I was saying that we just replanted finally. We'll probably throw a little more compost around him. And this is our plum tree. We won both of these from my son's tribe at different events. It's really cool that that's one of the things that they do giveaways on, because, who doesn't want, need, and love a fruit tree? And most of the people who live on the reservation have some kind of land that they're likely to keep, so it's good for them. We put ours in bags because the first one we planted, for multi reasons, the first one we planted right here, 1, got a late frost, and 2, I don't think we could ever keep it watered enough because the native soil right there that we hadn't reconditioned and added amendments to just wouldn't take the water in. So our thoughts are, this poor little leaning guy, we're gonna put him over by the little stream here and see if there's any way he'll make a comeback. But we're not optimistic, but we're really trying to keep these ones alive, and that's one of the reasons we went here. And also, this isn't our property. We're gonna be leaving at some point, even though I love this area. The trailer itself is very small and not ideal. My son went to pick up these sweet potato slips from a really nice lady in the community who grows and sells starts, and she gave us a whole bunch of stuff for free that I'll try and mention along the way. It was really sweet of her. But these are 2 different kinds of orange sweet potatoes, she said. I typically, white's my very favorite, but I'll eat any of them. I like the purple ones, especially with AIP. They're a large part of my diet, so I'm excited to try and grow those. In here, I just planted carrots. And in here, I just planted edamame and bush beans. It might be too late for all of these to get established in this really bad heat, but I'm hoping we can just kind of shade them for the worst of it once they come up. Our hollyhocks are very done. I cut that one all the way back, but I think I'm gonna have to do that with these here pretty soon. Some of the seed heads have already dried up, and so I will at least have some seeds. And I don't want to take them before they're completely done, because they're one of the only things we really have of benefit to the pollinators right now, and they just love them. But the flowers are getting much smaller, and the plants are getting sadder and sadder. So I drove around earlier and I saw that everybody's hollyhocks were looking similar. They grow really well in this environment, apparently. They're one of the only things that's like took in this really dry and now weedy. We have to weed those area that I was going to try and do flower bed in. But now I think what we'll do is we'll plant even more hollyhocks, hopefully of different colors. I will throw a few more of these pink ones out, or they might have cross-pollinated with these other ones, and that'd be cool. But I would also really like some black ones and some red ones, and this whole garden to just be full of hollyhocks at some point would be ideal. They do have really pretty flowers. And again, because I love it here so much, also then below them, I was thinking we'd put just native flowers that really want to grow here and that pollinators really like. Let's go over to the main garden. We still haven't cut back the bottom of these trees. Our squash that have come up are coming along pretty good, but our squash that have not. So I'm either going to try and find some zucchini and squash starts because we're very behind now, or we're going to try and at least plant some more seeds today. I'm baffled at why they haven't come up. We amended the ground with a bunch of compost that's easier to keep moist, but I guess we didn't achieve the level of moisture they needed. And we did plant them definitely late, but in our first tomato bed, these are all cherry tomatoes. That's a giant beet or two. I think 2 beets. So, you know, they kind of multi-sow because there's more than one seed in that little hard bead seed. Do you see that? I'm so dumb. And so a lot of times they'll come up multi-sown, and I didn't thin those. Looks like a lot of stuff got a little burnt yesterday, which is weird because it was not that hot of a day. But these are cherry tomatoes. I started from seed a little late. They're finally starting to pick up, and then there's onions along the side, and this one Chileno. I have a lot of Chileno plants, but I put them in different places, and I stuck some where the onions had died off here, which was really dumb because the onions died for a reason, and then the Chilenos just died right after. This bed is my bigger cherries from seed, and maybe need to top those and let them bush out, but they'll bush out. And then these are a radish that I'm letting go to flower and seed, and I'll either eat the pods or save the seeds for that. There's some onions that are doing a little bit better along this side. And there's some Chileno peppers that are definitely doing really great. They get like a good amount of shade here and enough water, and they're pretty happy. These tomatoes are starting to get flowers. I wasn't gonna let them, but I think we'd be desperate to have 1 or 2 tomatoes, so I'm gonna let them. I tore the last round off, but I think hopefully they're big enough and have established roots for a few weeks. So there's those. I love having that big beet. I hope it doesn't bolt, or we can catch it while it's still edible. Yeah, those guys are looking great, but it's so sad that the other ones haven't come up. Okay, so over to here. We have tomatoes in all kinds of various stages. Oh, there's gonna be trash around here from the wind. The smallest green tomatoes are ones that I planted from seed. And we got a few from the lady who we got the sweet potatoes from, who gave us a bunch of stuff. And then I got a few from my friend who grows and sells them, but she was just at the end of her thing and said, do you want a couple that you can try and see if they'll survive? So we're trying the ones that she gave us. That's one of them, and it's perking up really good. But so is this one, and I don't know if that one's gonna make it. 2 or 3 of them have already died that she gave me. And then these few over here are ones we got from the store. Those are 2 that I grew from seed and planted out earlier. So we're getting somewhere. Oh my gosh, our sunflower has bloomed. Are you zoomed in? No, you're zoomed out. Wait, guess you're normal. Oh, there's this little sweat bee asleep on it. Can you see him? Super cute. That's a multi-headed volunteer. It's a little darker yellow than the one we had last year, so maybe it crossed with something else. But it looks like there's lots of heads wanting to grow, so that'll be really fun. I'm gonna plant another. We're gonna give this, that's a volunteer, as I said. We're gonna give this little bed, this had squash in it last year that we left for things to keep their homes in. We're gonna put a couple more sunflowers in here and let this just be that. These things are so scary. I almost fell over. It's gonna be very hard to, what do you call it? You know, harvest. Get in here to harvest. Here's our peppers. I noticed this morning, I don't know what happened. These look burnt. I don't know how that could have been a thing. We've been watering really profusely. We even had a sunshade up. These are new ones that I either planted from seed, grew from seed inside, or ones that the nice lady gave us. There's a eggplant that I grew, and an eggplant that she sent. And then one of hers looks really sad there. I don't know if it'll make it. Red bell pepper. Some of hers have signs of what they are. I don't know what any of mine are. I didn't have the space for labeling. It was just a free-for-all. There's a little volunteer amaranth by that hill. Here's our tomatillos, looking pretty good. That's one I grew. Again, more trash blown around, and that's the one that the lady gave us. So our two best are out there to pollinate each other, and then if we have room, last year we had them growing all along here. If we have room, we'll do that again. These are our kind of just sweet corn beds. We're gonna maybe be three sisters, in that they were gonna have cucumbers in place of the squash as a sister. And probably not beans, because sweet corn is not great at, it's not thick enough stalk to hold beans up, so it's not the best support. It's better to do flint corn for that part of the garden. Again, a lot of purslane, even more over here. It's going completely crazy. In a few minutes, there'll probably be little yellow blooms open all over it, and I'll try and show you that if I come out. I love how the amaranths, like so many of them, are these crazy variegated colors. Here's our onions that we grew in the way they were suggested to be planted, and some of them are really looking like actual onions, which is so exciting. I've never had a ton. I've gotten a few like not very storageable onions, but I've never gotten really great ones. There's another one over there that's looking really big. Some of them died off, but they kind of got pushed out by the giant arugula bush that has flowered onto the rest of the garden. Another volunteer amaranth there. And then lastly, we'll walk through the beans. These guys are having a hard time finding something to hold on to, even though it's right here, buddy, right here. You can do it. Oh, that one's finally twisted around. I think I helped him yesterday. I'm pretty sure this is a long bean by the way that the leaves look. I'm just trying to give it a little hand. The wind makes it hard for them to stay on. And then we're growing some Malabar spinach just kind of as a backup, because the regular beans especially notoriously don't do the best in this heat. And some of these, I'm pretty sure this is Cherokee Trail of Tears. I think this is another long bean. And that one too. You can kind of tell by the leaves. I think I spaced them a little, and these are probably just rattlesnake pole beans. It's so hard. Like, just grab on, buddy. It's right there for you. So I planted the Malabar spinach as a little bit of a backup in case the beans just die right out in the heat. We'll have something, because the Malabar spinach is very heat tolerant from what I've read. I've never grown it before. These guys are just reaching all over the place for their little part of the fence. And I pulled out one that died, just curled up in the heat and shriveled up and died. But we'll keep trying until we can't, and we'll plant some more either squash or red Malabar spinach if we can't. These are melons, except for this one, which is a cucumber that my friend gave me. Those were also in very bad shape. Two of them survived, one in the corn beds and one over here. And then these are going to be a watermelon, Kajari, Sharontice, and this year we got a cantaloupe because my son likes cantaloupe. I hate it. Little volunteer arugulas everywhere. Some more melons on this side, looking really good. I think we're gonna probably get all the purslane out of those beds so it doesn't just take over and snuff these guys out. And this one, we have squash. These are the small enough squash to trellis. Anything that was a bigger squash or a pumpkin we put here so it can just bramble and have the ground. With these, if they get too large, we did smaller melons as well. If any of them get too large or look like they need help, we'll just tie them up with pantyhose or makeshift something, a little piece of t-shirt. You can use all kinds of different things. I've seen people use bras. That was pretty funny. But look at those giant arugula volunteers. And one of these didn't come up. I think I'm just gonna let it not be there and see if those ones do a little bit better. Having a little more space. I know ideally you'd probably plant 2 or 3 at the bottom of these, My thing is I just don't know what will survive or thrive, and I want to make sure there's something on the trellises, so I usually overplant them. These ones we have not dug out yet. We'll probably do that today, and these are also going to be squash. This is a volunteer squash that keeps coming down from where it's trying to vine up. I'm hoping I can get it to stay. Maybe if I get this leaf there, it will. You got plenty of room. The whole vine is yours. And then a bunch of volunteer amaranth. And, oh, there's a little volunteer geranium. I'm almost tempted to let that go too. We'll see. And then some purslane, obviously. So yeah, that's the garden. Let me walk to the... That's the garden as of June 22nd is I think what I said. And next week, hopefully it'll really be popping off. Everything's starting to really grow at that crazy rate with all the heat. As long as we can give it lots of nutrients and a little shade, it should just be fine. Hard to garden on a budget, like we haven't had the money to amend as much as we need to or purchase shade as much as we'd like to. But you do what you can with what you got, and it makes us more and more inventive and MacGyverish. So we try and embrace it. I'm so excited about that little sunflower. I love a sunflower. I hope the other ones come up. We were anticipating having a lot more volunteers like last year, or else I would have planted a lot more. But it's never too late. We still have quite a few days. So, I mean, I guess at some point it's too late with gardening, but you can always try again next year. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me again. Keep you posted on how it's going. Hope your garden's doing great. Thanks for hanging out with me in my garden today. Remember to stay on your watering and feeding. Keep things in a little bit of shade if you're in an area like me that's completely full sun. And you're not going to win everything, but do what you can to make it grow.
Like and subscribe.